I think we all have to be sure that everybody is trusting on God for something in this room. Is that true? And how do I say this in a way that you're not trusting Him for something you want to consume? I hope you understand. I don't know if you have people in the room and what you are trusting God for, even if it happens. I'm careful with my words. You are not even going to be a beneficiary. Who gets the tone of my... There is no place where there is no provision made for... I'm trying to drive us to a point right there where you are just knowing already if what you are trusting God for is truly from God or is self-concocted. Do you understand? Because sometimes we begin to say we're doing things for God, I want to serve the Lord, but fundamentally, if you check, we've just built a safe zone for ourselves. You found an entrepreneurial platform not to really solve people's problem, but to solve your own problem. You know, there is this mindset that people have when we discuss church. Our generation believe that when a young man begins to do church, you know, he collects the wealth of everybody. Do you understand? And church is that strategy to just get the masses wealth. I hope you understand, at the expense of the masses. So there are genuine ministers, but we're not even making a case for ministers right now. We're just saying that we want to quickly do a quick check to be sure that you're trusting on God for what is God's own. That's the simple definition of, you call him a founder, you call him a leader, you call him a builder, you call him a server, whatever titling you are giving the operation around a man that is serving the purposes of God. I hope you understand. God's problem becomes your problem. I'm not saying problem from the place of man, but God wants to save a people, and then you receive a mandate for an evangelical platform, and God's strategy of salvation becomes your strategy of living. If you begin to pray and say, Lord, save these people, if you think well, you are not supposed to be praying that prayer, because you are not supposed to be bothered. Do you really am I doing a good job? You can't look at anything in the whole thing and find how it benefits you. We have so much of things that benefits us. It will do good to humanity also, but we are fixed. That's not a vision. That's not ministry. That's not all these things. That's a business. That's your startup. Do you understand? That's you serving yourself at the expense of people, using God as a strategy to deceive the people. Are we still together? And sometimes, you know, the most interesting thing about this is that it can be a little bit of some paradox, that this thing wasn't my business before, and God made this thing my business now, and I still have to submit to Him for what doesn't really concern. Do you really understand what I'm trying to say? And how we journey growth in this? Do you really understand what I'm trying to say? And I really know what I'm saying, but I don't think I have utterance yet for what I'm saying. There's this way we pray and say, Lord, this is a document, for example. So we already drew an organogram. You understand? I wish, do I have my body here? Don't get it bad. Then the only space left is just one section for God, and we just call it Kingdom Advance. Do you understand me? We just call it, there's this way, there's something, somebody called something for me, you know, like, so as God is blessing me, you understand, I will be, so it's like a percentage thing, you know, those kind of arrangements. So if God does this, and I just look at people and I smile, because I understand you for where they are. I hope you understand. Sometimes it doesn't even feel safe to work with those kind of people, because it's a shaky ground. You really get where I'm coming from. But the truth about it is the fact that the things you are supposed to be trusting God for is not anything that first has a provision in it. Let me tell you something. You don't really know true visionary life. You don't really know true... I was teaching a series one time on founders. Whoever came across, we took it off. I was teaching on, I took it away because I found out the people who are just getting angry at me for no reason. A real visionary of God doesn't have a plan of what he will eat tomorrow. He lives every day on God. If you want to understand it, go and look for genuine missionaries. You know missionaries? Real missionaries, not people that scam. You know, people lie. I was talking to a young man. He reached out to me because he went on a mission to a place in Abeokuta. Yeah, it's not even far. So, you know, they took pictures with phone. These guys don't even have a camera. He was even telling me, Pastor, do you have one camera? I said, if we change our camera, you know, that kind of something, just buy battery. We just had that conversation. Then he told me, say, what even did you want to tell me? He doesn't know if he should speak up. I said, what's that? He said, a big mission, and it's big to him because they have a website, they have good presentation platform. He said he saw the pictures of their own missions, and they're using it to raise fund. What I'm saying is real life. I don't want to mention the person's name mistakenly. Like, they did small, you understand now? The people put filter on the picture, put logo. You know, you can revamp. Is it revamp? Is that a good word? You can make it burst out. That burst like colorful. Do you get what I'm saying? They put it there, and foreigners, you know, these platforms abroad that support missions, and they're trying to raise $1 million, and it's the pictures of a mission that somebody trusting God for went for. So I'm just saying that you can even be so bold enough to even use soul winning, the ultimate business in the mind of God, to build a social. So in case you are sitting and you're listening, and of course, yes, the reason why it's open to everybody is because, and I will explain the reason why we're doing what we're doing, because you cannot be listening to the things we're listening and not come into a builder's realm. It's not possible. As a true teacher of the word, you have to know, even secular teachers know that when you are teaching a student, they write exams. And because they don't mark script in the life in God, the script is the result we see in your life, emphatically so. And when I say result, I don't mean result that is competitive. I mean you journeying to the promise. So a real teacher of the word, I'm not saying apostle first, someone that teaches. You know the meaning of to teach. To teach is tough because you have to learn many things and now make it align to the mind of God. Do you understand? Some things, I wish I could say it the way it is. Some things are not things first permitted. That gives you a deep orientation of that stuff. Then you now find God, because no platform created anything save God. So if we call it esoteric, it was just somebody taking it too far out of the confine of Christ. But unfortunately, with every sense of respect, it may be a bit clearer first from that place, but not aligned. Who understands that? And so I know what it means to teach people. You have to learn this, you have to learn a bit of everything, to understand even how the prison works. Do you get what I'm saying now? And sometimes you're looking at people and as you're teaching, because you know that if you are listening to what I'm teaching you, there are side effects I should be saying. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So there is a way I know that even if it looks like you wanted to kickstart, this one is a jump start. You didn't do it properly because it seems like there's a provision made first for you before anything else. Do you really get my point? I'm not wasting your time. We're going to take that song again. So in case you search your heart and you discover that all I was singing about before, trusting God for, was just my small business where I make daily meat from, you have not done bad. But you're going to now shift a bit forward. I hope you understand. That's why God plants people in church. Do you really get what I'm saying? There's a reason believers are called the planting of the Lord. It's because till you grow, however your pace is, you are always planted somewhere. Do you get? And if you are planted correctly, the place you are planted, the people God put the seed in to put in the soil, I promise you, if they are living fine, they are living each day for God. Who gets it correctly? If you are not careful, write this word somewhere. I've not started, but write this word somewhere. Are we live on this session today? Let the media answer me. You're working with the media? No, you are live now. Okay. If you're following online, write this word down. It's golden. If you don't understand things first from a standpoint of service to God, not service to men first. If you don't understand, I'm saying it off my heart, I will explain it deeper. Things first from the standpoint of service to God, put in brackets somebody else's own. Service to God in brackets somebody else's own before service to men. Put in brackets your portion in God. Do you understand that use of word now? You will later discover your best days in God were just your little beginnings. You will later discover your best days in God were just your little beginnings. So that thing you wrote, read it and digest it. 1 minute, please. That thing you wrote just now, read it. Now read it. Let it sink. It is a founder and leaders conference for a reason. So there's an approach you are taking. Read it. Just meditate on that stuff. That there are many people today, they are still standing as I'm standing here. I hope you understand. They are making progress according to the clock systems of mankind. Do you understand? They are marking anniversaries of 10 years, 25 years. Do you get my point? 18 years. There are things I can mark the anniversary of like over 10 years. Do you understand? Which is not even necessarily this work. Are you getting the point now? But I promise you that if you really ask the person genuinely, he will tell you, my best days with God were the days when things were little. Were the days when I didn't have access to people. Were the days when I didn't have influence. Were the days when I didn't have platforms. Were the days when nobody knew me. Were the days when nobody was placing a demand on my grace. Were the days when there was no invitation. Are you getting the message? There is every chance that if you do not get this from scratch, that the real things we call, business with God, do you understand? Vision, all these things are things that God calls is for a people. Then he finds a suitable person. I may try to just do those things for us, the foundational things, and then he gives you what is for the people, and he doesn't even discuss you in that thing. The joy of a visionary is the becoming of that stuff. It's just that he has been proven true too long that when people walk with God visionarily, their lives don't remain the same subconsciously. And how does it happen? You may not always have grateful people first at scratch. And when I say grateful, it doesn't mean giving you bodies. Do you understand? When I say grateful means I really know what you are supplying. I can tell you that you are positioned for me. This thing you are saying is the ingredients to make what God is doing in my life. You may not have those people first, which means you may first have people that don't even know why we are learning this thing. Do you understand? But it just sounds a bit nice. Well, I think the guy is cool, especially the way he pronounces stuff. I've seen people say, at least there's something I gain, my spoken English. And I'm like, I'm not even, and I don't speak so well in that sense. And do you really understand? And sometimes what people gain from you feel like beating them. Say that's all you gained. But I promise you that if from scratch you had found a place for yourself in that thing, your best days will only be your little days. Who got it? Your best days will only be when there are just 4 people. If you are going to have a walk with God, that you will look at the end of your life like Father Abram, that says that he was looking for a city whose foundation, the builder and the maker is God. You would look for something that doesn't concern you. You don't understand what I'm trying to say? Are you getting the message carefully? Let me tell you how God talks and how we hear, so that you will be safe. Because of how you hear, that is not what God is really saying. So Abraham, Genesis chapter 12. Let's try. Genesis chapter 12. Hold on, no. Genesis chapter 12. Will I have a scripture here? Media? Okay, Genesis chapter 12. Just start from verses 1. Jesus said carefully that you are careful how you hear. He didn't say be careful what you hear. Because what you are hearing is not two things. What makes what you are hearing not what he said is that how you heard is different from what was sent. That's why if after this little meeting today now, we ask people, what is this? You'll be surprised what everybody will say. What they will say back is how they heard. The lenses of their hearing, their perception about life, the manipulations they didn't fix, the consumption they didn't. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And you just say, well, I never say what you were saying. I've told people upright, I never taught what you said. He said, no, you taught in January. I said, I didn't teach that thing. I taught the topic you mentioned, but I didn't say what you said. You are saying what you heard. And he said, sir, even in my notes, I said, I know the topic now. I didn't argue the topic, but I didn't say anything like what you said. Then he says, sir, 30 plates. I said, so. And you'll be surprised what he's saying, the use of word is synonymous to what I'm saying. I said, that's not what I'm saying. So this is what I'm saying, like, oh. And the answer is that there is a slate of hearing. They really understand what I'm trying to say. So for many of us, whether you agree with me or not, that's why we don't, in our generation, have people that just want to serve God and don't want to get anything from it. Jesus made promises that gives us confidence. For example, he said anyone that leaves everything to follow him. I hope you understand now. He says he's going to have a reward in this world and in the world to come. True or not? It's nice now for me to know God will bless me in this world. He will bless me in the world to come. But I promise you that you may have to understand what God is calling bless you in this world also. Because God won't find a day to give you what will gratify you. He will give you what will make you more effective. He won't give you money for you to chop life. He's going to keep giving you funds to do that thing more and more. But that's not what you heard from what Jesus said. As I quoted that scripture now. What you heard is, so that's good now. We cannot be poor for life. We cannot lack for long. Do you understand that kind of stuff now? The also we pay one day is the subconscious hearing you heard. So we may need to sit down and make some arrangements today and ask ourselves, will you be comfortable if you do this for life and you really are poor personally? And you are so wealthy institutionally. And if you're a genuine son of God, the corporate fund is not your personal fund. Even ordinary and secular platforms will prosecute you, true or not. Say you siphoned company fund. That in technicality, this church's money has never been my money before. So do you think you're going to be comfortable when the church is doing great stuff and people have the fallacy? If this church can be doing this guy, forget about that stuff. Because to them, it's like you're building something for you. It's like you're an investor. How much has to be in your church account for you to feel like God called you? Because you are not supposed to even know if there's funds there or not. What matters is that needs are met when it's needed. So if there's no fund there, how are you so knowing that it's affecting you this bad? How? It's not your personal account. You should be checking your personal account to know, which means, and subconsciously, when people work visionarily, they find out that over time their lives get better. It doesn't mean that they are paying them a huge salary from the church work. It just means that because of your selflessness, you will be shifting value so much. If you work with God well, even if your head is not applying itself to your heart, something will happen. You will grow so much in wisdom and counsel. That's consulting. Somebody has some problem, say, there's a way you advise a rich man how to say thank you is riches and wealth. He doesn't know what he's doing is so much. There are people that will give you anything, they just feel like, it's just like somebody giving you water when you come to greet them in their house. One day, somebody sent me some funds for table water. He called it soda. I think that's what he called it. Just say, Papa, let me send money for soda. So I said, I don't want. I even say it's Nestle may I take or at worst ever. Because I just felt. And honestly, I went to the mat downstairs and I used my card to buy because in my mind, I thought he would send me, and water was maybe 150 then. So you should imagine, and God is listening. I thought he would send me 150 naira. That's what he told me. So I wanted to be sure I bought so that maybe was led by the Spirit only for me to check my account in the night, and I saw a fund in more than 1 million naira there. So I'm wondering what happened? This is a good deal. So I checked this and I saw money for soda. So what kind of soda? So I said, give me this guy number. This guy sent money. So I called him. He said, Papa, no, don't embarrass me. He said, no, you have done so much. This is what we used to just relax in the weekend now. So I just said, since I saw you on the weekend, I was like, this thing you sent me can do ministry for like 4 months. It's just that you didn't know. You know what he told me? He said, sir, are you being sincere? So I said, what is your conception about me? He said, to be honest, I believe you have a lot of money, but you are very humble. You just live low-key. I said, yes, I'm humble. And it's not, I worked on myself to be humble. So I know I'm humble. I said, but I'm not doing low-key. He says, how this thing you do in church? I said, church funds is not my fund now. I said, oh, Jesus. I think he sent a sense of responsibility to him. I hope you understand. Of which I wanted to be sure I had conviction. But I'm trying to explain something to you. I cannot stand there and tell you, God told me, if you follow me, in wealth, you will have wealth. I've heard preachers say it. And I know that is how they head. I will show you. God never told me, as you follow me, I will make sure. The things God told me is that I will make sure you are influential. So I thought, wow. Only for me to know he needed the influence to carry his word. So yesterday, the song that was played at LTP, very touching song. So they wanted to re-upload. That was why I delayed. You guys left after 10 yesterday. That was what I was working on till after 10 first. Just because I think the theme of the song is our hero. And what did I tell you? I said, I don't want trouble. Hero means different things to people. They told me, no, that's how the person received it. They received, they didn't form it. You know, I said, I'm your hero. I agree. Why not let me be your hero alone? Do you understand? So all I was doing was, when I saw the only thing, I said, well, anything that comes, they say, anybody, let him talk now. We are here. I say, okay, thank you so much. I'm trying to show you something. And what I'm trying to show you right there is the fact that the communication, our hero, the way I've worked with people don't see our hero like what people that really understand what they are saying it like. They also see our hero as, people transited from rulership to leadership. That's if they have transited. That means we were under traditional obas. Our grandparents, some of the younger people that are a bit older, our parents were under obas. Obas are rulers. So a king is a summation of the wealth of all the people. And all he's expected to do is go to war, get some spoil, but even if a king puts investment in you, is to cash out a big ROI. And if you don't do it, he will sell you to slavery. The slave happened before. The kings have to be part of it. How will somebody travel down for months? He will be seasick by the time he gets here. And he's still stronger than me, that I'm eating and going to farm every day to tie me. That means somebody sold me out. Are you getting the gist now? And I said, because that's how somebody, and I'm just careful that somebody's not thinking, if me too, I start this thing. Because you don't know the real thing. Who got the flow? You don't do what? You don't know the real thing. I had a struggle, for example. I'm saying this because this is my job. Do you know it's my birthday yesterday? I still feel like it's my birthday today because I didn't feel like it was my birthday till 12 yesterday, and it has not feel like my birthday has ended till now. At least you people are still doing design. So, do you understand what I'm trying to say? But this is the truth of the matter. I didn't buy a cloth for my birthday. I didn't buy a single socks for my birthday. I didn't buy anything. I didn't have any plan for a birthday. I rather was putting the funds in, and because I'm a good manager, you may not know, I'm making sure they will not spend beyond $1 million for only LTP because I know they will still come here today. So, and I know the people want to do well for you. Because there's a perception you are worth all the celebration, but certainly the people are thinking, and because of the nature of how God brought me out, I'm thinking that money you're using for that thing, we can use it to start a student work. And that money we pay for a facility that 10,000 naira for 1 hour inside Unilag, I can buy 5 hours. So the people know once you come, eat before you come. It's a proper teaching seminar. So 5 hours every week, that's 50,000 times 5, 250, you have paid for 4 months. For 4 months, I don't need to think about funds. I can keep preparing for the people. So what will you eat? I don't know. What are you to come tomorrow? And for record's sake, I didn't eat all 3 yesterday. So somebody said, Papa, it's your birthday again, you didn't eat anything, blah, 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 blah. And then said, there's one jollof rice they put inside your bag or something. So I took some because I know the person is feeling like, even on your birthday, you know that kind of energy should be. Everybody has eaten now, and blah, blah. I'm just trying to tell you that if care was not taken, I would not have eaten yesterday night, which means when they made the food, there was no plan for a special meat for me. Are you really getting the message? There is a tone that I want you to come into. Do you get what are you still with me, friends? So how does God take care of you? If God sends you, tell you how he's going to do it. But the most generic way is that you keep growing in versions. People that can relate at high level value just say, no, you are too invaluable for this thing. I never earned a salary since I resigned from work properly. Even when the church fell, Papa, I think we can give you salary now. I said, if you give me that salary now, you can do fair for Ogun State for the month. And I was like, what is this thing? It's true. You just don't know that if I think there is something that is not in place, I will not be coordinated. You don't understand what I'm trying to say? Some like shut up. And that's why a true person that will work for God must know what God showed him and what God sent him. So that you will not be using somebody's assignment to still press yourself after there is provision for your own assignment. Sometimes your season does not require more than 1 million naira for 1 month, and all the things are fixed. And then you are eyeing somebody that requires 10 million naira per Sunday. Then you still fall back to ineffectiveness. Are you getting the message? Whether you agree with me or not, money is the language of this civilization. And if we have our needs met, people become more effective. In case you look back and somebody told you, that guy is so anointed, are that your pastor? And you had a moment of pride, like, he's my pastor. What made it so was early days of not caring about funds. And when the need came of making sure you live according to the instructions. Did you get it now? You live according to expectation. There was no ambition. If any fund is spent to make the environment look good, is environment to help you receive what he said. That's why a little piece of flour was put here to make it a bit, gives you an executive tone. It's not because they didn't buy the flour. We bought these ones. I've used it a couple of times. Do you understand what I'm trying to say now? Because I know we always do this kind of thing. And it just gives you that perspective. Sometimes I feel there should be a bottle of water. But because of how I came, I feel like this church should be able to start a water factory as soon as possible. Because even if I take the label away, somebody knows the shape of the bottle. And somebody thinks if they use this bottle in this church, this water is good. And nobody pays me for it. One of the things I jokingly said, I noticed that there's a need for a lot of bread in Tiag last year. I'd gone to study how to make a mini bakery. Because I don't eat those bread, and I'm not happy you are eating it where I am. The bread I eat must be A, NAFDAC. And I'm sure it's not even up to A10. Huh? Yeah, what is that? Are you getting it? Can you see what's happening? So I'm not even happy the people, because if you give me that bread and say, Papa, I just say, come on, baby. I won't eat it. Not because I will not have eaten bread. I'll miss me. You know, when you are used to something, I will have said, show me the bread. I'll check the pack and see for bao. And I may not want to talk because maybe it's the first time we're talking. So I'll just be like, I'm the bread of life. So you will laugh. And somewhere may just be like, where is the person? At least even if you want to eat it at home, not, do you really get what, do you get what I'm saying? This is how many people built many things you are saying, that you are saying they use church funds. Because subconsciously the people, I'm not saying they are not thieves. I'm not saying there are no, there is a word people like to use in Africa. Say is a charlatan. You know, one day I asked a young pastor, what's the meaning of charlatan? He didn't know it. But his first message I heard, he was shouting, this person is a charlatan, is a charlatan. I said, what is charlatan? He said, charlatan now. I said, explain, don't tell me charlatan. What is charlatan? I said, you are saying what you don't know. You don't know it first, you don't know the person next. Somehow, somewhere, I think there is a need for us to start this way. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. What is that thing that is making you stretch? What are you looking for transformation for in that sense? Going to conferences for all those things, what? And the whole thing, because you are not in the right place if it's an ambition. You're supposed to be in something business school. You're supposed to be with one guy that doesn't even believe in God, that understands if you put in the work, there is a law of life that says you will see the seed. Because all this thing you are listening to will be destroying your business subconsciously. So if it's just for something to make ends meet, you're not supposed to. You're the one that said the Lord said I should build a company for souls. But you are forgetting that the realities of a company will fight a company built for souls too. So even though you started with a capital of something and now inflation is there, you're already feeling like, will I be working this hard for people? Who are the souls? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I was talking to a pastor and he reached me. He said he's a much better person. And I said, okay, fine. Then he told me, he said that he has a challenge, and the challenge is the fact that he's been doing ministry for a while. You know, sometimes when God puts on you, people see you from where you are not even in. Do you really understand what I'm trying to say? So in his mind, he's believing he's talking to one guy in the caliber of maybe like one Bishop Oyedepo. You understand? So I was looking at him. He was just saying, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, so what did you go through? He said, I put in a lot of all the resources that came in my hands for like 2-3 years now. He says, but people will go, all the normal thing that comes with working. I said, so you have done well. I said, there should be a substance that lets you know that we progressed. I said, first of all, your message is, there should be a shift. I just said things I think you should find. And he said, what I feel is if I'd spent that fund on myself, I felt maybe I would have been better, and then I will now attract the people better. I said, it's a normal feeling when there's a little bit of ambition still left. There's something inside you that you want to do. And even if God breaks you through, that's what you will do next. And that will delay your breakthrough forever and ever. In case you are listening to me, you are not listening to someone that had it all figured once. You're talking to somebody that, I have a real life with God. And that's why I teach vulnerably, you understand? You know the meaning of real life. Right from scratch, I was this kind of executive person. I don't use suits anymore. You can't catch me unawares. You do understand what I'm trying to say? I used to wear suits and I'm not going anywhere. I hold my bag. I used to set my documents in bag. Do you understand? I like things official. I like that corporate life. I hope you understand. Do you really understand where I'm coming from? Trust me, please. So somehow, somewhere, even as we're doing ministry, I can tell you boldly that I have gone to God a couple of times. Not this thing, do you think I can't use it? And God will tell me no. Because God knows that part of me will not serve him. People, it will serve me. Who is in church? So we're starting this way right there. I think it's afternoon already. Do you really have that thing that is God's? Or you have just been in church for too long and you have now found out how to make it feel like God's stuff, and then you seem to have the effrontery to disturb God on it. That's what we do. And that's Satan's massive attack against our life. It says, God knows the day you eat of this tree, you will be like. Every one of you here, plus me, wants to be like who we should be, not who really we should be. There's this, God wants you to be a minister of the gospel, you understand? There's like it that you like. Do you understand? Who is in church now? Are you really getting the message carefully? There is a need for you to first run an investigation. That's what you are trusting for. It's exactly what God says because of how you heard, not what He said. Genesis chapter 12. Let's start that way. Genesis chapter 12. Read, everybody. So the first thing that happened there, somebody say vision. This is not even my teaching. No. As we came in like that and we were ministering in that song, do you understand what I'm trying to say? I knew automatically that, let's continue. It says, get you out of your country and from your kindred and from your father's house onto a land. See, the story of this is a story of vision, where God shows you something, but the orientation is not you. It's because He found you worthy. So in reality, if you meet Abram, he'll tell you, what Abraham say, all my life is about this, we're going to a land, God will show me. And as he says that, people begin to have conviction, or they have seen bits of the old vision. Do you understand? Do you get my point? And they tell you, even me, I always dream and see land. I even thought it's real estate. But as you said that thing, I feel like, well, I don't know, I'm not doing real estate, anything. So then the person comes in. That's the journey of a visionary. And like that. The subtle tone there is that God actually didn't promise you land. God actually didn't say, I will give you land. What God is saying is, in my grand agenda, there is a land that has a people on it. I want to take those people into their land. And I found that you have the valuable properties. One of it is that you won't contend for the glory. Number two is that you are a life that is lost in me. Do you understand? That means you will not, the land will not have to carry your name. Who is in church? The land will not have to do what? Carry your name. So let's go. The idea of, do you get what I'm saying? And the name of everything that you have that makes you warrant a vision is provisional. Because you are first a provision. That's why people that start with you believe you can figure anything that goes wrong. They just say, Papa, this thing, Papa, what do we do? And you're like, give me some time. People don't believe they should give me some time. That's why people are not patient with me at deep value, not face value. And that's why subconsciously people are not patient with founders. Because they just say, Papa, if we add screen in this place, and you don't know what you're saying is that if you people bought screen in this place, I won't say don't fix it. And if I don't put the screen there, someone can walk out on this church and say, this church where they don't get screen, there's a church. But the reality is the fact that I don't have a company producing screen. If it's a true path in righteousness, there is a point we get to where the screen will be added. Not all of us are organic. People take loans to buy screen. Not all of us are doing this thing the way it should be done. That's not my focus. My focus is to bring many of you into the understanding, actually. So, on that, do you get the message? And it means that if we buy a screen in this church, many of you should be some millionaires in certain degrees. Do you get my point now? Because it should be your common offerings that buy screens of maybe 100 and something million. You people's offering. Because this is what you are not discerning in your generation. You want the pastor to go figure how to buy the offering. So there are poor people in rich churches that feel rich. People feel they are wealthy because they attend a wealthy church now. If they break all of you down, you cannot speak to people you are insulting online. If you see them in their array, you won't be able to get close to them. And I hope as much as you're feeling along and feeling among in church, there is something you're supposed to do that gives you a valid among membership. You cannot be feeling among on the journey of other people now. You understand what I'm trying to say? Thank you for some 5 people that partner with us and say, may God bless. Say, stretch your hand towards them. You like to stretch your hand. Something should be wrong somewhere because the whole thing was not about the guy building company. It was you that God had in mind. That if somebody looks at me and gives me personal prophecy, I will never believe them. I last had a personal life I can't remember anymore. If someone come and tell me, this boy will be great, I don't think he's seen the past of my life, not my future. No, it's not true. It's not God. The only thing God discusses with me right now is this. Is this us? Is this People close to me know because they call CM my wife. That was the answer I gave those our cons. I said, I already have a wife. People are like, oh, thank you, Father. So that's I say, this is the government life. Now, you see how many children? I'm a very fruitful man. I just they born every season. You don't understand? I say, the first thing he showed Father Abram is vision. Verses 2. This is the place where many of us are plagued. 2, please. Read everybody. See, he didn't say, and I will make from you a great nation. I'll make of you a great nation. So what does it mean? I'm sure you did the English language now. Some of you did a lot of GNS. Is this called GNS in the universities? What's the meaning of GNSF? It's general studies. Then it teaches communications now. Also all of those things. Yeah, so I'm sure you did GNS in school now. So, you now. Even now you did like you go fee explain, I will make of you a great nation. Where? How you see him? Man, I went to FUNAB. Sort of that used to say, Papa went to FUNAB. Actually, I went to Michigan State. Now that you are in church, you now see that certificates cannot work here. What's the meaning of I will make of you a great nation? That's where you made a mistake. There's a difference from I will make from you. It means you have to be alive to yourself. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? He says, I will make of you. To help you get it well, I'll make out of you. So, if you're already Bible students in this church now, there's a prototype of who they made something out of. Who is his name? You know it, you are right. Who is the person's name? Adam. You are correct. Why you say say it well. Who is the person? Adam. It's Adam. And for them to make out of, what did they do to Adam? They had depot. Don't say sleep. They are sleep where you are still alive. Says, who is there? There's a sleep where if they explain how you slept, you say me. So that's the case study. So he's saying, once you are here, Father Abram and all of us in this room, who are 2 categories, I will soon get there. Once you are here, though I showed you where you are going to, the name of how to get there is a deep sleep. A deep sleep so deep enough that I can bring out of you what I kept in for where we're taking the people to. There is this sort of pressure, and I'm conscious there are ministers of the gospel young amongst us, where you just want a miracle. And it's a miracle that even if the people are young and they are poor because of being young, that means their sight. There are things you didn't understand when you were young. How many of you have had money opportunity, but you were younger? You didn't have sense like now. You bought iPhone, you bought laptop, you moved out of your father's house. Now you're not saying, but Lord, why? So the presence of fund without sight still makes a man poor. And it's a dilemma that comes with age in time. That when people are young, they don't see as they ought. Are you getting the message? So when you are young like that, the other side of it for mental transition is there is a phase of your life, I always shout this, where you're not supposed to have money, as it were. It's the learning phase of anybody's life. That's the first third of your life in simplicity. It's a life law. And I've shared with you from scratch. And that's why yesterday I was talking about people coming into partnerships. I said the students are not part of it because it doesn't matter how you love God. Only if the person gave the funds and I never knew about it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And you're a student. No, it's not going to happen. You will not be able to convince me. It doesn't matter how hard you try. Because subconsciously, I feel like you shouldn't, even if you have these funds now because you did something, then there's something we can do. If you can be this as a student, let's see what can happen in the next 5 years. Do you understand what? And there's no hope that next 5 years that person will be in front of you still with the same attitude. Could have gone and say, I'm no more doing religion. So it takes a nature. You need to be asleep to do that. How will somebody bring you 500 million naira, for example, and you now say, if you can have a startup that does this, let's give it 10 years. You need to be asleep to do that kind of stuff now. You know when you are asleep and they say, will you eat chicken? You didn't know you said no. So you now saw chicken bones. I said, you what you said? We asked you, but you said no. And I said, but you know I was asleep now. Do you get? That's the exact thing it was saying for Abram right in this place. Let's continue. It says, I will bless you. Now, when God says I will bless you, you need to find out what I will bless you means. Sure you are getting the message. I've taught you on what it means to be blessed before. God was not even talking anything first fiscal. I hope you know. No. Because of time. It says, I will make your name great. So when you hear things like this, first of all, God says, I will make of you a great nation. Do you understand? Number 2, say, I will bless you. Number 3, I'll make your name great. You don't know me. Do you really understand where this goes? And everything God is saying is giving you infrastructures for a vision is facilitating. That there is an influence. What's that thing? Something is distracting me. There's an influence that is going to. I said this statement sometimes back, and somebody told me and said, Papa, and I'll say this thing carefully, but you'll catch it. He said, this time you'll just be talking and somebody will be flying away. He said, what's the secret? And I said, see, I don't lie. I know you want me to say 12 hours. See, this is it. When God knows the assignment he gives you, there are empowerments he will put because of the assignment he gave. God couldn't make me. Now, this is Mark 2025. Think 7 years ago, all of you here. People are grown now. They're now talking refined. Please, backward your life 7 years now. People that have been around for from scratch. You know who you are. Imagine I didn't have that grace and I was preaching the way I talk. This is how I talk. I don't have a loud voice, and I'm shouting now. You can't hear me. By the time, if you make me shout, me and you may not finish that conference. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So just imagine that this is what this person is, and those graces were not there. Oh yeah, imagine. I will bless you. And that's why somebody else has something for the assignments. I can never covet for it. Are we still together, my friends? Number 3, he said, and thou shalt be a what? Let's move. 3. I will bless them that, and curse him that, and in you, because of the nature of the vision, all the families of the earth. Please explain to me in one word where God promised Abraham something. Find the verse now. Read. You have it. Find now. Convince me back. You can get the microphone. That, but at least God, Abraham, when you see pastors, because I feel this is happening these days, and you see a pastor that has a lot of wealth, there are three things that could have happened. Number one, he came from a wealthy background. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Or a background that is rich, and they were benevolent towards him. There are people that, I saw a man, his son, he spoke to me, he said, I have a son, he's a Christian, but he's not a pastor. His son holds all these things meeting, and he was shocked. Because the first one, he saw a couple of persons there, and he's like, wow. So to him, he's like, I don't want that thing to die. You see, when I heard him, I was seeing a businessman. He wants to fund the son. You get it? So, say, but I listen to you, so I feel like I want to connect you and my son. I said, when you connect us, you will forget about him. So he's coming down, we'll rent a house in Matogun. He said, I don't understand. I said, that's many of Bluetooth devices successfully. Do you understand? Because I understood him straight up, like, you know, so how do you bring in your own supply? I will fund this thing. This is nice stuff here. Because that kind of person already has money, but he may not have a name. So he's already seen there's already money on ground. Then to the money, let's create name now. My son is doing that stuff. That's not what we are discussing here. So that boy has every chance now to come out. That boy will never rent anything in his life. He uses the best all. He has not met God. He will do a lot of activities. That guy is not, do you understand what I'm trying to say? I thought now. Second way people break this and say this pastor has a lot of money is number two. That pastor, as it were, transited correctly, but in a season of their life when they have been productive. So let me say it well. He knew he has this call of God. It wasn't an environment where he was amplified. So he got a job, he became a regional manager with a bank, I hope you understand, had some investments, bought some shares, and somehow somewhere met one prophetic, someone somewhere picked that calling, implicated him, he started having disturbing dreams. Now he surrenders to the will of God. Even though he will resign from the bank, his investments are there, his businesses are there. When he starts ministry, he will import all those things. Are you getting the message now? The first service is going to be in an hall in Sheraton or somewhere. So praise the Lord. We say the Lord is good. Everyone say, hey, this is the God I want to serve. He has not started because all those things will still be converted. That's when he can strengthen you, his brethren. He is not converted. You know those things you converted in 423. He's just there, heaven. You know those church where you are giving keyboardists 500,000, you know, and there are 4 keyboardists. You understand? Say you understand this kind of stuff. It's true now. People looking at me. The third way, and if you understand example number 2, and your story is close to like my own, that the call has been disturbing you from young. In every sense of it. And you had struggles trying to do something, it feels like you are committing a sin. And do you know, sometimes I hear people talk, and they just tell some people and say to a young minister, when you start young ministry, and they say to you, make sure you get a job. They are saying something nice, but it's not a general rule. Because there are young people that won't be able to get a job, and they will not need food too. There are people that didn't like, when they say, I didn't eat, I ate scantily for like 2 years. They don't want clothes. You know, young ministers need to use organic cream today. He's bleaching subconsciously because he has to be fresh. If he's not fresh, God is not with him. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? He has to buy what's this wristwatch? Rolex. That's today's young minister that just started with his suits. You understand what I'm trying to say? No, that's not young minister. You are young ministry already. You are already a ministry. I'm talking about people. Do you understand that we even sell the former one he has? Because there is work now on ground. Do you understand? When people start that way, what was the story of my life? I got a job with a private tour organization. Then God gave me some favor through the man. I started doing a bit of some tour consulting in South Africa. It didn't take so long. I was out. Even if I saved money, it will finish. Who's getting the gist? I'm not making a case for myself. God is good to me. I have some speed you may not believe. And when I say this now, if you understand the message now, I'm not talking about my personal accounts. If we can get here, there is some speed somewhere. And my story is an average person didn't get here with the money first. No, you have a neighbor, ask them if he came in with a lot of money, then we now collected it. It was right here, people were being lifted. You get the message now. If you're in that third category, this is how the story of your life will look like. Is this summary of this Genesis chapter 12 from verse 1 to 3? And I will use an example of a natural life to help you get it. I've always told you people that one thing you should pick from me is patience. I have a lot of it because of these things I understand. And I pray you have accurate understanding today in the name of Jesus. So this is how it works. God says so you started, and let's imagine you started at kindergarten level. At kindergarten level, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. What are the things you give to a KG1 student? No. What's that first class now? Criteria or something. Hey, you know that place that you just take the babies to go and sleep, and in case your own child is stubborn, they give the child some sleeping pill. Don't act like you don't know that happens. You don't put your babies where there are no CCTV cameras and try and ask for a footage at least twice in a month so they know that you are intentional. They just give every baby sleep. If you enter the child, these are all of them. Then when they get to KG1, they are dull. You say, one say, are you getting the message now? What do you give that baby? Everything that makes the baby sleep, wake up, is taken care of. Is it true or not? And there is such level in visionary living. There is a level you get to, is pencil you have. True or not? And he has eraser because you are going to make a lot of errors and God will clean many things. At that point, make sure you don't have those that are judging you. I mean, because you clean your books and the pages will tear. And you shouldn't beat a child like this because he tore his book. That's why he's not using a biro. You don't beat my child for saying, did you buy the book? And you call me, I buy another one. The day he's using biro now, if he's using saliva, we go wipe him together. Once you're wiping him, I'll be wiping him because you should have, you know those things when you make mistake with biro now, you put saliva on eraser now. Then the book will now cheer. It's called cheer. Until the book have cheer. Do you understand now? So you move from that place. There is an age where you get to before you now yourself begin to earn. True or not? Are you sure? It's true. There is a place you get to. I'm using academics first because you connect where you have access to funding. Help me. From what levels? Maybe a real funding. Oh. You're in Nigeria. Don't act like you're living somewhere in Arizona. So what are we saying? Masters, true or not? It's when you begin to have some mastery. You know, in Nigeria, you're looking for funding for BSc. Only if they are using you to make funds. There's one ongoing now. But our masters, we know that there are foreign aids. You understand? You can't be looking for funding from KG. And this thing we are discussing is not a place where you have one parent that is. We're saying that you have to be conscious and responsible for the vision God has given you. I know I'm in KG1. And because of the infrastructure God has put on you from scratch, that it will make you famous. From KG1, your teaching may reach a university of PhD students. We stay alive now, my friends. Then I have access. So there is a point where you can really be bold and say, Lord, I think I need some funding. You need funding in this you're facing ministry. You just imagine that God gives you, just imagine, I say this in ISAF, that by the grace of God, you just landed on a crusade ground like this. And there was a lot of effects. And God says, this is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased. Hear ye him. Boom. And now there are crippled people there. There are blind people, weak people, poor people, unbelieving people. How much can you do? That's when you sing your mother tongues. Because when God doesn't show up, you just think, maybe if and do you know, you now say, that crusade, I was embarrassed, I need power. But if you understand that, there will have been a transitive mode of. Now, we're not making a case for basic level operation, in my name, cast out devils, Your name. I'm talking effectiveness. And the real statement behind my example is that when the crusade is done, real vision is that you are now leading the whole crusade ground somewhere. If they came, receive healing, and go where they like, you didn't meet a visionary. You just met a Christian that has a strong sense of exousia, but that he should be in a vision, so that even if he does that, then he can lead the people in a direction. For some of us that may not connect with that student thing so well, imagine you gain an employment with a company that is transgenerational. Do you understand? There's been, some companies are 400 years old. I hope you understand. 380, 320. You don't have so much of them in Nigeria because of distance you are learning. Okay? Then you gain employment right in that place, and you got in as a basic entry level. And it doesn't mean, not contract staff. You understand? So there's a vision. I'm not against contract staff that are working on themselves. I'm trying to make you understand that I can get to the peak of anything in this company. There are companies like that. Not the one that it doesn't matter how much you do. If you become director for this company. There are Nigerian companies like that. Yes, now, the only way you can be director is either you kill the director there and show the people he's a making not making director, or something that is not correct. You understand? So there are places where work hard, don't work hard, Do you understand? But this is an organization where you can grow to the peak of it. As you receive a job, you get a good employment, you get a good remuneration. Is it true? You are well remunerated for efficiency at that thing. True or not? So understand that in visions, God supplies what you need for efficiency per time. There are things you cannot covet. Then you begin to work, and for record's sake, I said this in the School of Innovation, the concept of promotion in the marketplace came from laborers. It's a union of laborers that began to clamor, that they've been in the company for long, and when they take in new people that seemingly have more skill or something, they feel like it's a cheat on them. I've been in this company for 20 years, somebody comes in, boy, it's better than you, efficiency, they say, no, you should go and join the line. So that's where that labor, began to make a push for promotion from the standpoint of longevity. So if you are not careful, you'll be saying, we've been doing this thing for 20 years. That's not it. We're saying you are making progress. So after I don't know when they do evaluation in your company, but maybe 2 to 5 years. I hope you understand now. And the company does do reviews, say, let's shift people up. Let's get a new entry level. I hope you understand that kind of stuff. When you shift off, there are benefits that come with it. There's a point you get to where you have a car. I'm training you in church that if you know your own move, if they give you a car, reject it. Because your walk with God is precious than what people will say. Or else, your best days with God will only be the days of your little beginning. Did you get it now? Yes, you now see where Apostle will be cruising car everywhere. Even if you are playing, what's one of our songs that makes sense? A mini emotion on the street. Do you understand? It doesn't change anything. So there is a point where the car you got was just something simple. I hope you understand, because maybe you are now the head of marketing department. Your car should have that trunk where they put things. No, don't make me feel like I'm abnormal. Head of marketing department now, maybe work in one pharmaceutical company, they give you a car that they can open it and put some ministerial, some Vamazine, that say they will fill the thing up. Those kind of car, you can't take it to a party. You drive it home. So when they invite you to a very exotic party, you still have to go and rent an exotic car. In real life, in God, it's possible God gives you that kind of car. Because at that phase of life, do you understand? Are you getting the subconscious message? There is a point somebody gets to. Maybe become a chief operating officer or something. Even you will now be scared of the car they gave you. At that point, is that you can get a security yourself? Because the things now look, they won't kidnap. This thing people are giving me, I don't need to say, well, it comes with this office. I'm sorry. You can't even reject like I beg. There's no way you can. Oga, this is the story of what you are reading in this place. So we can't start and we have made provisions for ourselves and say, I have a vision from God. It's a lie. Who got it? Are you sure? Does it make sense? What I'm just saying is this, that if people traveled well, as you are saying, I tap into grace, understand that you are tapping into following the move through faith that is patience. That's the meaning of the statement. You need to know that what you are saying is some PhD level funding. What you're seeing right here is maybe some professorship, some research funding. You get it now. What you're seeing here is a chief executive. There are companies that employ CEOs. Because the founders have graduated out of the company organogram. They just watch in the board of directors. There are people that bet things. They're not even in the board of directors anymore. Are you know? Those guys are retired. You people, I will just come once a year. Those companies, you do anyhow, they wear you shame. This one is not, we are looking for 12 million, monkey chop it. No, this one, there is order. As you're looking for it, you're the one buying, they say, bring handcuffs, sir. I'm looking for, you understand? There are people like that. At that point, do you get what I'm saying? When people go for vacation and they're not checking what's in the account, do you really understand? Are you really getting the message? Everything I said, my friends, you can find your way around it. But at the expense of the vision or building correctly. Who caught the revelation? Yes. Have I thought you to be poor? No. Can you start poor? Yes. Have I taught you to be weak? No. Can you start weak? Yes. Have I taught you to be small? No. Can you start small? God's things even start small. Have I taught you to be ineffective? No. I've taught you that when you begin that way in your journey's effectiveness, there is this way they build energy. When we begin to pick maybe a rubber band around maybe a biro or something, if we begin to do it so much, it will generate energy over time. If you give it, it will have enough field that if you're sensitive, your nasal can feel the energy. True or not? There's something we do with our hair. When we do that thing, we put biro, you do it. What do we use that thing for? Is it to pick paper, magnetic or something? And if you do that thing enough, there is a place of built up resources, built up capacitation, built up anointing. Those things exist also. Are we all still together, my friends? Hope you're hearing me well at the back. I'm not used to this kind of church. It's too long. So, my friends, God told me if I serve him, I will not lack anything. Let me come and help you hear it well. God says if you serve him, you won't lack what you need for the job. And you may not have people, because many people that we save, especially some of you that didn't grow up in orthodoxy churches, you don't even know you're supposed to give either preaches the word to you, carnal things. In this ministry for a long year, I'll be done preaching. There's no provision for water for me. I will go and I'll just say, I don't have water. And it will take a distance, maybe 5, 10, and I will really be thirsty. And I feel like drinking anything I see right now. But no, thou shalt not drink anyhow. So I drink my saliva. I can't be hungry. Because I sat and told myself, most of these people didn't go to Orthodox churches where they know. And if you don't create a system for them to know, you will reap it. And some people think, is it water Papa cannot have? You get the energy now. Say, what can, is it ordinary water I will not have? I tell you this, I have not had water. And because I will not drink any water for your sake. As you drink water anyhow, it affects your system. Imagine they say your Papa couldn't preach today. His body is sluggish. Have you not experienced it before? Say your body, you just feel this. Sometimes it's some water you take into your system now. Of course. Say water. You will buy a factory. If I buy a factory, God will look for my replacement. Not because there may not be funds to buy a wholesale, but do you understand what I'm trying to say? Do you really get the message well? So I'm saying that many of you in this room will have access to some terrible fundings and wealth. And the truth about it is the fact that it's not safe. You can't be looking for Forbes wealth list of young under 40 because it's not your money. And I'm not saying you can say everything out. Whether you agree with me or not, I cannot really communicate the financial position of this ministry publicly for many reasons sake. There are people here that their mind can't take it. You hear, we have this guy more in this church. And in reality, I'm telling you that we are to stay with the need emphatically, cutting out the S behind the needs to have that beautiful year. But someone say, you're going to have enough of those people around you. What my introductory session spoke to you. You heard God. So there is a need for you to know. So now it's clear. all of us are not called into this church thing first. At deep level, all of us are not visionaries. Whether you agree or not, because you, as you are searching your mind, you know that this thing, I built it because I went to a good school, I have knowledge for it, and I think I should build a company. I hope you understand. I love God. I will give 2% of my, say, and we appreciate you. So it just lets you understand the difference and makes you separate and put honor. Real people live selflessly. You can look, for example, like someone like maybe Pastor A. Adeboye, and say, so how did they buy that car? It's unwise of us to think that way. In a church which only God knows the branches alone in Nigeria, maybe 60,000 branches. Even if all the 60,000 choose to be poor, they will be less poor than themselves. I mean, if 60,000 churches decide to say happy birthday to you, you will wish it's the last birthday because you don't want the next year to be lesser than that one. You get the logic now. It's unwise. It's unwise for you to look at someone like maybe Bishop Oyedepo. Bishop Oyedepo's strength was raising people. He used institutionalization so heavily. That's what many of you don't know. And the people he raised broke through at what they did because they got it correctly. It's unwise for someone to say, let's buy this. And we now think, if we're going to buy this person a car, I could have bought him my own Prado. I have my 250 million naira, but I feel that if you had two of us now, it maybe Prado Plus, you understand? I don't want to mention a car and something and say, we can be 6 now, we can be 8. It's unwise to now say, no. Do you understand? That old man cannot have lust for Rolls Royce anymore. We're not thinking. We should be asking, does he even ride it? It's not, you are alive. Imagine say you get Rolls Royce. All the girls are dead. This man, do you understand? Where will he drive it from his apartment to office? Imagine driving Rolls Royce inside one compound. And that's what you are fighting about. This is not when you should have a Rolls Royce now. You know, you people pray and say, may we be able to buy meat when we have teeth. This journey, because there's no place to gratify you, when you have meat, you will not have teeth. So that you will cut the meat for children class, because the people that are led now have children. I'm just trying to make you know you are going to be in health and prosper as your soul prosper. You are not going to have enough to go to, you understand what I'm trying to say? Having rest and retreat is necessary. By the time you lead people, they know if this guy rests, he'll be more effective. They will rest you by force. That's not you waking up in your own senses. Say, ma go ma divs. As you did all those girls, you are now buying clothes that are feminine in nature. Do you understand? So they are two different things. Maybe some of you that already have plans to marry pastors will think again. And that's why everybody wants to marry pastors, because they feel like once you marry pastor, How do you say now? Once you marry pastor, because you have to wear clothes every day. They wear the clothes on a lot of burden. And may we not marry who did not marry us, because they didn't marry your call. And now, you will know over time now.